The unraveling, a shift in American conservatism. American conservatism is changing. It is moving away from its traditional roots. Instead of focusing on limited government and individual liberty, it now embraces a reactionary stance. This new conservatism rejects democratic norms. It seeks to consolidate power and exhibits authoritarian tendencies. This shift is evident in the rise of Donald Trump. His 2024 presidential victory, winning both swing states and the popular vote, underscores this change. It shows that this brand of conservatism resonates beyond a fringe base. This shift is fueled by several factors. Racial and social anxieties play a role. Anti-immigration sentiment is another driving force. There's also a deep resentment towards perceived elites. These factors combine to create a potent force, one that challenges the very foundations of American democracy. This is the new reality of American conservatism, and it's one that demands attention. This shift did not happen overnight. It has been brewing for decades. The rise of talk radio and cable news created echo chambers. These platforms amplified grievances and demonized opponents. The decline of traditional media further exacerbated this trend. As a result, many Americans exist in information silos, reinforcing their existing biases. This new conservatism is not simply about policy disagreements. It represents a fundamental break from democratic principles. It's about power, control, and the rejection of pluralism. It's a threat that cannot be ignored. The future of American democracy may depend on understanding and addressing this dangerous shift. Shifting tides, minority groups, and the allure of conservatism. The realignment of minority groups within the American political landscape is a complex and often overlooked aspect of the conservative shift. While traditionally associated with the Democratic Party, some minority groups like Chinese Americans are increasingly finding common ground with conservative platforms. This shift challenges conventional political narratives and highlights the evolving concerns of diverse communities. One key factor driving this realignment is the issue of crime. Rising crime rates in certain areas have led some minority communities to prioritize law and order, aligning them with the traditionally conservative emphasis on strong policing and tough-on-crime policies. This shift underscores the disconnect between liberal rhetoric on criminal justice reform and the lived experiences of those most impacted by crime. Education is another critical area where conservative policies resonate with some minority groups. Concerns over affirmative action policies and a growing emphasis on merit-based admissions have led some to view conservative approaches as more aligned with their values. This is particularly true for groups that prioritize academic achievement and meritocracy. Beyond crime and education, economic anxieties also factor into the shifting political allegiances of minority groups. The perception of conservative economic policies as more favorable to small businesses and entrepreneurship resonates with some communities seeking upward mobility. This highlights the need for liberals to articulate a compelling economic message that addresses the aspirations of diverse communities. The long game, the Supreme Court as a tool of power. The Supreme Court, once considered a relatively apolitical institution, has become a central battleground in the American political landscape. Conservatives, recognizing the court's power to shape policy for generations, have adopted a strategic, long-game approach to its composition. This strategy has yielded significant results, shifting the court's ideological balance and raising concerns about the future of fundamental rights. The appointment of conservative justices under the Trump administration, namely Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett, has solidified a conservative majority on the court. These appointments, lifetime appointments, will have a lasting impact on American law and policy, potentially for decades to come. This highlights the long-term vision of the conservative movement, one that extends far beyond any single election cycle. The impact of this conservative majority is already being felt. Recent rulings on issues such as abortion rights, gun control, and affirmative action demonstrate the court's willingness to overturn precedent and reshape the legal landscape in line with conservative ideology. This judicial activism, once a term associated with liberal judges, has become a powerful tool for advancing the conservative agenda. The strategic use of the Supreme Court by conservatives underscores a key aspect of their approach to power, patience, and strategic planning. Unlike liberals, who often focus on immediate legislative victories, conservatives have played the long game, recognizing that true power lies in shaping the institutions that interpret and enforce the law. a dialogue of the deaf liberal denial and conservative reality. One of the most significant obstacles to addressing the challenges posed by the shift in American conservatism is the lack of understanding and acknowledgement from the liberal side of the political spectrum. Liberals often struggle to grasp the depth and complexity of the factors driving this shift, leading to ineffective dialogue and missed opportunities for engagement. There's a tendency among some liberals to dismiss the concerns of conservative voters as simply products of misinformation or bigotry. While these factors undoubtedly play a role, such dismissive attitudes prevent meaningful dialogue and further alienate those who already feel unheard. This failure to engage with the root causes of conservative anger and frustration only serves to deepen the political divide. The liberal focus on identity politics, while well-intentioned, can further exacerbate the disconnect with conservative voters. While issues of race, gender, and sexuality are undoubtedly important, an overemphasis on these issues can alienate working-class voters who feel their economic anxieties are being ignored. This creates an opening for conservative populists to exploit, framing these cultural issues as distractions from the real problems facing ordinary Americans. Liberals must move beyond simplistic explanations and engage with the complexities of the conservative worldview. This requires listening to and understanding the grievances of conservative voters, even when those grievances are uncomfortable or challenging. Only through empathy and open dialogue can we hope to bridge the growing chasm in American politics. Section 5: The Trump Effect, Normalizing Authoritarianism in the GOP. Donald Trump's presidency, while tumultuous and marked by controversy, has had a profound and arguably irreversible impact on the Republican Party. His brand of populist, authoritarian-tinged politics, once considered anathema to the GOP establishment, has become the dominant force within the party, leaving many to question whether the party of Lincoln can ever return to its traditional roots. Trump's open admiration for authoritarian leaders, his disdain for democratic norms, and his willingness to bend or break the rules to achieve his goals have all left their mark on the GOP. His rhetoric and actions have normalized a level of aggression and disregard for democratic principles that would have been unthinkable just a few decades ago. The Republican Party's embrace of Trumpism is perhaps most evident in its response to the January 6th insurrection. Despite the shocking assault on the US Capitol, a significant portion of the GOP continues to downplay the event, spread conspiracy theories about its origins, and remain loyal to Trump. The Trump effect has fundamentally altered the character of the Republican Party, leaving it deeply divided and struggling to define its future. Whether the party can break free from the grip of Trumpism and return to its democratic principles remains an open question, one with significant implications for the future of American politics. Section 6: Beyond Trump, the enduring legacy of a populist. While Donald Trump's presidency may be over, his influence on the Republican Party and American politics is far from over. The populist, nationalist, and grievance-driven politics he championed have taken root within the GOP, making it unlikely that the party will return to its pre-Trump strategies. One of the most enduring legacies of the Trump era is the normalization of his brand of divisive rhetoric. Attacks on the media, the demonization of opponents, and the use of fear and resentment to motivate voters are now standard fare in Republican politics. This toxic discourse has poisoned the well of American political discourse, making it increasingly difficult to have reasoned and productive debates about the challenges facing the country. Furthermore, Trump's success in mobilizing a base of support fueled by cultural anxieties and economic grievances has created a blueprint for future GOP candidates. The focus on immigration, trade, and cultural issues, often framed in stark us versus them terms, is likely to remain a central part of the Republican playbook for years to come. The Republican Party's post-Trump identity remains a work in progress. However, one thing is clear: the populist, nationalist, and grievance-driven politics that define the Trump era are here to stay, shaping the party's agenda and influencing the tone and tenor of American politics for the foreseeable future. Section 7: The swing vote, caught between grievances and immediate concerns. While core Trump supporters are often driven by a consistent set of grievances related to cultural change, economic anxiety, and a sense of being left behind, swing voters represent a more complex and fluid segment of the electorate. Their voting decisions are often influenced by immediate concerns, such as the state of the economy, healthcare costs, and the overall direction of the country. Unlike the unwavering loyalty of Trump's base, swing voters are more pragmatic in their approach to politics. They are willing to switch allegiances based on their perception of which party or candidate is best equipped to address their immediate concerns. This makes them a crucial demographic for both parties, particularly in tightly contested elections. For swing voters, issues like inflation, job security, and the affordability of healthcare often take precedence over more abstract ideological debates. They are looking for tangible solutions to their everyday problems, and the party that can best articulate a clear and compelling plan to address these concerns is likely to win their support. Understanding the motivations of swing voters is essential for both parties to craft effective campaign strategies. While appealing to the base is important, winning over the persuadable middle is crucial for achieving electoral success in a deeply polarized political climate. Section 8. A House Divided. The Perils of Ignoring the Conservative Shift. The consequences of failing to understand and address the real issues driving the shift in American conservatism are profound and far-reaching. This failure to engage in honest and meaningful dialogue exacerbates existing divisions, undermines democratic norms, and erodes trust in institutions. One of the most dangerous consequences of this disconnect is the increasing polarization of American society. As liberals and conservatives retreat further into their respective echo chambers, fueled by partisan media and online platforms, the space for common ground shrinks, and the potential for constructive dialogue diminishes. This polarization has real-world consequences. It makes it more difficult to find common ground on pressing issues, from climate change to healthcare to gun violence. It also fuels political gridlock, as elected officials become more beholden to their bases and less willing to compromise. Moreover, ignoring the legitimate concerns of conservative voters creates an opening for demagogues and extremists to exploit. When people feel unheard and unseen, they are more susceptible to messages of fear, anger, and resentment, which can have dangerous consequences for democratic stability. Section 9. A Call to Action. Bridging the Divide for a Stronger Democracy. Addressing the challenges posed by the shift in American conservatism requires a concerted effort to bridge the growing divide between liberals and conservatives. This requires empathy, open-mindedness, and a willingness to engage in difficult conversations. First and foremost, liberals must abandon the tendency to dismiss or demonize conservative voters. While it's easy to caricature opposing viewpoints, such dismissive attitudes only serve to deepen the divide. Instead, liberals should strive to understand the root causes of conservative anger and frustration, even when those grievances are uncomfortable or challenging to hear. Second, both sides must engage in a more nuanced and respectful debate about the issues facing the country. This means moving beyond simplistic talking points and engaging with the complexities of these issues in good faith. It also means listening to and acknowledging the perspectives of those with whom we disagree. Finally, we must find ways to rebuild trust in our institutions and in each other. This requires a commitment to truth, fairness, and accountability. It also requires a willingness to hold our leaders, regardless of their political affiliation, to a higher standard. The future of American democracy depends on our ability to bridge the partisan divide and find common ground. It's time to start listening to each other, understanding each other's concerns, and working together to build a stronger and more united nation.